I hope everybody can you. Welcome everybody to this third edition of Loops organized by Veltha. So today we are gonna meet two projects, DEREMCO and EoLO-HUBS. Both projects have common topics to discuss, especially about the remanufacturing, demanufacturing, reusing and recycling of composite materials. So the agenda of today is managed in the following way. We will have Javier Perez first from EoLO-HUBS, is the project coordinator, and he will go more in depth about the EoLO-HUBS project. Afterwards, we will have Marcello Colledani, the project coordinator of DEREMCO, which will do the same about the DEREMCO project. And then there will be Valentina Pinna, who is the project officer for EoLO-HUBS. This will be until 11:35. Afterwards, we will have the most interesting session of the loops. Topic where we can discuss and hopefully get an insight for the future. I will quickly introduce the two projects. So on one side, we have DEREMCO. DEREMCO stands for De and Remanufacturing for Circular Economy Investments in the Composite Industry. Well, we all know that composite materials are increasingly being used, especially in the construction sector. The challenge is how to reuse and recycle them. The challenge is how to indeed demanufacture and remanufacture them to have a sustainable value chain and increase the sustainability in the value chain of these materials. On the other side, we have EoLO-HUBS. So EoLO-HUBS is a project that focuses on the wind turbine blades, reuse. As we all know, wind turbines is one of the main and maybe best solutions for renewable energy. The big challenge is how to reuse and recycle wind turbine blades at the end of life. And this is what EoLO-HUBS is trying to do. EoLO-HUBS stands for Open Hubs for Circular Materials in Sustainable Business Models. So DEREMCO is a project that is co-funded by the European Regional Development Fund. It has 29 partners, and on the other side, EoLO-HUBS is funded by the Horizon 2020 program and has 18 partners. Before before the questions and answer final session, as I said, the most interesting, we will start now with Javier Perez, that will go in depth and explain better the EoLO-HUBS project. So Javier, I will leave the word for you. Thank you very much for being here. And I'm also myself very interested to listen to your introduction.
Thank you, Mattia, for inviting me. I'm really happy to join you today. I will use a presentation to better show you what EoLO-HUBS is about. Right. So, as Mattia mentioned, our project mainly works with recycling of the wind turbine blades, and we do it through different hubs. And now let's discuss what the hubs are. Well, we address we have a huge problem in Europe since the big boom of the wind energy was around 30 years ago, and designated service life is around 20 to 25 years for most models. So we are now facing a period where a huge amount of wind turbine blades will enter their end of life, and we have to find efficient and proper solutions for that. When recycling a wind turbine, in addition to the blades, we have some other elements in the structure, but they are usual construction materials and metals for which more standardized recycling solutions or end-of-life solutions are already established and working. But for the wind turbine blades, they're composites. They are a mix of polymers and fibers, and need a more specific solution. Some technologies are on the way, and what we do in EoLO is to improve them, to make them better and more efficient. So the problem with the blades is that due to the structure and the materials I just mentioned, recycling them has three main issues: the heterogeneity of the blade structure, the strong adhesion between the materials forming the blade, because it needs to have a very good performance when it comes to structural and mechanical properties. And as a result of the two first properties, there is a downgrading when applying most of the regular recycling processes to that. And that's why what we will try to fix with the EoLO-HUBS. And just to mention that, mainly caused by these conditions, the current solutions are mostly landfill or incinerate these materials. Both solutions are to be restricted or prohibited by many countries, and in the future by the European Union. So we have to find alternative solutions within the short or mid-term if we want to fix this before it becomes a bigger issue. Our consortium has 18 partners, as Mattia already mentioned, representing different sectors from the European industry, academia, and research centers. The solution we propose for the problems I just mentioned would include to improve the decommissioning and pretreatment once the wind turbines enter their end of life, then apply the innovative recycling technologies, which would be the, let's say, the core of the project. And after that, of course, we will develop upgraded processes for the reclaimed fibers, because it's not just about how to recycle that, but also about what to do with it after. So for all this, we will deploy a digital knowledge hub, which will include tools, matchmaking module, and everything to support the other hubs in the project. The project is called hubs because we consider we have 3 hubs: digital hub and 2 other hubs based on the 2 value chains the different partners form in the project. We will also develop improved decommissioning tools for cutting, handling, shredding, and sorting the materials. Then, as I mentioned, we will have 2 routes, one based on low carbon pyrolysis technology and one based on green chemistry solvolysis. Both technologies already exist in, let's say, early stages. They are not widely implemented, but what we will do here is to bring them closer to the industry by making them more green, more efficient, and hopefully for a wide application in the future of the wind industry in Europe. And at the end of it, of course, we have to prove this is useful, and this will generate materials that can be used by the industry. And for that, we will create upgraded processes where we will show what can be done with these materials mainly in the construction and in the automotive industry. Our impact will, of course, consist in a reduction of costs and time. We'll also generate a lot of information, which is going to be extremely valuable for the design of the wind turbines in the future. to make it easier for them to be recycled. And of course, we expect to generate much better environmental performance of the processes when compared to traditional end-of-life processes for such materials. And here we can see a schematic of the partners and the two main routes, value chains for the materials. One where the core technology is the green chemistry solvolysis, and one where the core technology is the low carbon pyrolysis. We see here all the partners in the consortium that are going to be involved and at which stage, and the end applications that I just mentioned. Main ones are automotive, construction, and hopefully we will also develop something that's of applicability for new wind turbine blades, in some parts of the blades where the structural and performance requirements are not that demanding, and recycled materials have a chance to be used. We just had our month 12 meeting. The consortium is really focused on teamwork. Things are working smoothly. We are really happy with the results so far. And just to mention, it's been just 1 year out of 4 for EoLO-HUBS, but we already have the first results. So we have a first model of the decommissioning software by TNO. We have also a first version of the end-of-life diagram in which all partners collaborate to place what they do and where they do it, and to better understand how the whole thing works. And our technical partners are already having successful results for the first solvolysis, pyrolysis tests, and the fabrication of materials, intermediate materials, using these recyclates to be used in the industry. And that's all so far. I hope you found it interesting, and I will be happy to answer all your questions. I think Mattia at the end of the session, once we have finished with the presentation.
Exactly, Javier. Thank you very much for your presentation. Indeed, we will have in the last half an hour, actually 25 minutes, the questions and answer session. So
Great.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Looking forward for the questions, of course. Now, since we also are 1 minute in advance, I would like to speed up indeed to leave more space and more room for the questions. So I would like to welcome Marcello Colledani to introduce the DEREMCO project, but I see that Marco Diani, a colleague, is here. It's yeah, it doesn't matter. Like
Marcello is coming right now. Okay, I will leave the floor directly to Marcello.
Project. Okay.
I will share the slides.
Welcome, and please, the room is yours.
How can I share the slide? Oh,
Good morning, colleagues. My name is Marcello Colledani. I work at Politecnico di Milano, and I'm the coordinator of the DEREMCO project. And it is an I3 project that is focused on the recycling and reuse of glass fiber and carbon fiber reinforced plastics from different sectors. So I will briefly introduce the project, and of course, then there will be time for more discussions. So the starting problem of reference is the fact that fiber reinforced plastics are widely adopted in many sectors, And in DEREMCO in particular, we focus on the wind blades, so blades from wind energy systems. But in spite of the benefits that these materials show in different applications, so of course, the management after the use phase of these components made of these materials still remains a challenge. If we look at what happens today in many cases, and of course wind blades is one of these, landfill is the most common target destination of this material after the use phase. There are some solutions that are low-end recovery of these materials, but still without a wide diffusion in Europe, also due to the economic implications and the limitations that you see in the slides. So the most important one being a lack of a systemic value chain integration approach for systematically reuse composites, maintaining the residual property of the material after the use phase. Just to give you some numbers, in the wind energy sector, these are the predicted volumes of GFRP waste that are predicted in Europe and worldwide in the next few years. And of course, in the lower graph on the right, you see the typical age of installations in Europe. And typically, these kind of systems require a change in the blade or decommissioning after 25, 30 years of use. So we have many installations that are getting to this point. To give some numbers, Wind Europe estimates around 60,000 tons of GFRP coming from wind blades in the next few years. This problem was already treated and tackled in the fiber use project. This is a project in Horizon Europe, in Horizon 2020, sorry. We coordinated starting June 2017. And it involved 21 partners with 10 million euro funding. It was coordinated by us at Politecnico. And this project gave us the opportunity to test and validate different process chain for reusing materials from composite-made parts. And out of this project, we already published a book that is open access. So if you want to get more details about what this project did, please make reference to this book. The main approach that we proposed for in the different business cases we demonstrated in fiber use for reusing this material was this cross-sectorial idea, where the key point is trying to maintain the properties of the material after the first use phase in a given sector in order to meet the specifications of sectors that typically require less demanding specification for being used. And out of this project, we developed and produced different prototypes made of recycled glass fiber and carbon fiber reinforced plastics that we also showcased at the Design Week in Milan. So we grounded on this result, and in 2022, we submitted the proposal DEREMCO in the I3 program, that is Interregional Innovation Investment. In this project, the idea is not to do research, is really to support companies in investing to upscale the solutions that in this case were coming from fiber use towards the market uptake and towards the market development, also with a positive business case behind. In this project, we have 30 partners and allocated in different European regions that are collaborating, exploiting their smart specialization towards the industrial uptake. Veltha is also a partner of this project, helping with the innovation diffusion around other regions in Europe and around other stakeholders within the same regions of the partnership. I think this was probably one of the first I3 projects that was approved and then started in December last year. In this case, we added one important market requirement to the solutions we developed in fiber use that we realized during the activities within fiber use, that is this demand-driven circular economy approach. What does this mean? Basically, usual approach in recycling is to try to applying recycling processes to a post-use product, to disassembly and then recycling to concentrate the materials. And then after the process, you, as a recycler, ask yourself how to gather residual value from the material that is obtained. This is typically a push approach, no? where you apply a process and then you ask what to do with this material that we obtain after recycling. In this case, we are reversing this approach. We are transforming this push approach into a pull approach, where we start from the technical requirements and specifications coming from the reuse business cases, so the reuse products where the material has to be embedded, and we transfer the requirements upstream in the circular economy process chain in order to adapt the recycling processes to obtain continuously material that matches the specifications and stays within the tolerance boundaries in order to be reused with a higher added value and keeping the cross-sectoriality. In DEREMCO, we have in total 14 industrial business cases that are trying to exploit this approach, plus the cross-sectoriality, in order to make, to produce new products embedding variable, as you see on the right, concentrations of recyclates from GFRP and carbon-reinforced plastics. As you see, the starting sector in many cases is wind turbines, and is transformed this waste after some process steps in reusable material for other sectors such as automotive, packaging, creative products, but also sport equipment. In the remaining 3 minutes, I will give you a hint of some use cases and what we technically do on the materials. Of course, dealing with blades, we start from a huge product. I mean, the size of blades is very big, and after the commissioning, usually the blades are cut in smaller pieces, but still are quite large components. So you cannot go by pretreatment directly. So in one of the two approaches, one of the two strategies that we are implementing that is basically relying on the mechanical processing of these blades, we are first cutting the original blade, trying to pre-sort and pre-select the impurities such as wood and adhesives, and trying to pre-concentrate the different fractions in terms of fiber concentration, because the fiber concentration in the composite along the blade length is very variable. And now you can consider blades that are up to 100 meters long. So the different mechanical requirements on the blade is highly variable, and so the concentration of fibers. So with this operation, we pre-concentrate the different fractions, and then we apply, as I said, a mechanical recycling, highly controlled mechanical recycling process that our startup Fiber Use Tech is bringing to the market in order to obtain a continuous flow of materials at a size that is usually between 1, 6, 10 millimeters, depending on the application. And then the different industrial partners are using this material with their own reprocessing steps in order to obtain products in different markets. Here you see the case, for example, in Lombardy of NTS, a company that sells automotive components, that is mixing BMC scraps with end-of-life wind blades fractions to obtain a new material that is embedded in new components through different type of processes, such as injection molding and compression molding. And the material, the components for the automotive sectors that we obtain are very good in terms of performance and definitely meet the technical standards of this highly demanding sector. I have other cases on the strategy one, that is mechanical recycling. For example, the reuse of this material for additive processes done by Caracol. That is another of our end users. But I would like to close concentrating on one case on the second strategy, that is more on thermochemical recycling. And in this case, I will show this. We obtain a mat for being reused in various applications, especially in construction industry, and that's what Centrocoat is doing. So I will stop here. My presentation was kind of dense, I know, but I wanted to give you a hint of the concept as well as some examples to further elaborate in the next discussions.
Marcello, thank you very much for your presentation. And even if it was really dense, indeed, as you said, I think it's all material for later and for discussion. So only better. As now, I would like to give the word to Valentina Pinna. She's the project officer of EoLO-HUBS, and well, she will talk about the topic we have been discussing in the two presentations and the introduction, with also the aim to bring some inspiring questions and discussions around for later. So I would leave the word to Valentina Pinna. Welcome to this loop session. And
hello, everybody. I'm not the PO for EoLO-HUBS, but I'm the PO for DEREMCO. So I don't know if you were looking for my intervention or the intervention of the other PO from CINEA.
I'm sorry, Valentina. No, it was my mistake. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Please, you can.
I cannot hear you very well. Huh?
Sorry?
I cannot hear you very well.
Okay, no, I just said that you can proceed. I just confused you. I'm sorry. I said EoLO-HUBS instead of DEREMCO, but please go ahead.
So I do not have a presentation because I didn't understand that I was supposed to give a presentation. I was just assisting to the meeting. But maybe a little bit of background on our program. Marcello briefly explained the purpose of I3. I3 Interregional Innovation Investments is a program which was created under the ERDF, European Regional Development Fund. And the idea is, for the first time, is to use ERDF with a program directly managed by the Commission. So basically, it's ERDF directly managed by us, NEISMEA, to finance uptake of innovation. Uptake of innovation, commercialization. So the principle for us is to finance projects that emerge bottom up from the territories of the EU, where regions come together to create interregional value chains. And the idea is to put together companies that are willing to invest, to deploy solutions, to commercialize solutions, and to bring basically research results to the market, but also to promote innovation diffusions in regions that that do not have a certain solution already applied. So it's really the logic of cohesion, not only developing something new to Europe or new to the application sector, but also to deploy innovation in new markets. This is what DEREMCO is trying to do. Testing, validating the solution, the application of the new materials in different applications, but also involving less developed regions of the EU in those value chains, and potentially diffuse innovation and create new markets. What else? So the logic is basically creating globally competitive EU value chains in certain sectors. So we really hope that this project will be able to deliver a good portfolio of business investments that could be in the future also accelerated by the European Innovation Council Accelerator. So this is a little bit the vision for our program, given that it is implemented in the same agency of where we are implementing the European Innovation Council Accelerator. We would like to really to see the best business cases to go to the accelerator. This is a little bit the background. If you have any question on the program, you would like to know more, I'm happy to answer your questions.
Valentina, thank you very much. Audience waiting, but yeah, I think, well, first of all, it's really interesting to see what the background of the projects, and to see that, of course, there is common ground between them. So also to see that there are more initiatives, more people working in the same direction, and it is nice to see the connection and links between the remanufacturing of composite material in general, and specifics and the specific specific context of the wind turbine blades. So I would, if there are no questions ready already, I would start to ask a question to DEREMCO. So about DEREMCO, and my question is, I think it's interesting to understand, since DEREMCO is also, if I'm not wrong, a project that works on the regional scale, regional approach. I would like to start a discussion about what are the correlation and relations between the regional context and a bigger scale context, so the international context. So how these two dimensions interact with each other in terms of replication, but also connection. No, this is a question for Marco.
Yeah, thank you. So good question, very good question. Thank you, Mattia. I can reply to you mainly following two different ways. First of all, let's consider that the DEREMCO is a project, as Marcello presented, that involves several partners from several countries in Europe, and we decided to construct this consortium considering some of the most involved countries in terms of wind energy and all the streams of composite streams. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that, I don't know if Marcello had time to present it, but we will have also during the project, in particular from April of the next year to November of the next year, an open call for involvement of new partners, new actors, let me say, it's better than partners, that we will be directly involved in the project through a cascade funding mechanism. And this will allow us to replicate and multiplicate our solutions in these regions and also outside other regions increasing also the connection and the link and cooperation between all the different countries and regions. So more or less, we can say this about the interregional aspect of DEREMCO. I hope this was the objective of your question.
Yes, I think it was Mark.
Mattia,
There's somebody in the audience that wants to go on within this subtopic. So indeed, the interregional replication of the project. My colleague Martin said there are no questions for now, so we'll proceed, and I will come to you, Javier. Also, from your very interesting presentation, I'm very curious. You know, because we have talked about many processes with the final aim to increase the value chain in terms of de and remanufacturing, recycling, and reusing. So I'm curious about how to minimizing the pollution in those processes that are themselves have the goal to increase the value chain. So to reuse and recycling. In this specific case, of course, we're talking about wind turbine blades. So in the processes that are involved for these improvements, how to minimize the pollution while keeping the let's say a good time.
Sorry, Mattia, I lost you for a second, but I think I got the main purpose of your question. Well, okay. You mentioned different things as repurposing, reuse, and recycling. The main thing we do at the EoLO-HUBS is recycling, and the improvement in terms of environmental performance will be achieved through an overall improvement of the efficiency of the processes. We think that improving just the environmental performance without improving all the rest of the tools and technologies and processes can lead to a poor acceptance. So you have to make something that's overall attractive, overall efficient, interesting for the industry, and in addition to that, interesting from the environmental point of view. So for the two main technologies we work with, that translates into well, for the pyrolysis, that's let's say quite well developed technology at this point, but the thing is it's quite expensive and not so efficient to make it affordable for glass fiber composites. So let's say at the moment, it's just interesting for carbon fiber composites, where the materials you're going to recover are more expensive. And then the solution we propose is to adapt this technology and making it more efficient as a process, also from the environmental point of view, will allow us also to recycle glass fiber materials, which are cheaper. But if the process works better and it hopefully consumes less energy with sort of a cogeneration where we use some of the pollutants produced during the process to boost the overall process, it's a less pollutant process, but also more efficient, and also from the point of view of the overall economy of the process. And for the solvolysis, the green solvolysis, which is the other main technology we will be working with at the EoLO-HUBS, our proposal is that, well, it's also a quite well-developed process, but when you use aggressive substances, aggressive solvents, and nitric, chlorhydric, widely available in the industry acids can be used for this purpose. But the problem you're going to have is that you will be generating an effluent that's really polluting and dangerous and hard to handle. Our solution is to develop green solvents so we can reach the same results in terms of efficiency, but we will be avoiding all these environmental issues, since the substances resulting from the process would not be so dangerous for the workers involved, so hard to manage from the point of view of the environment, and yeah, overall we would be improving the environmental performance of the process by substituting very hazardous substances with others not that dangerous for the environment, with of course achieving equal or better results.
Thank you, Javier. Sorry for the noise. No, really, really interesting. Yeah, because I think it is. Well, the question was indeed, you answered straight to the point. It was about like in all the processes that are involved, how to keep and maintain, increase the value of the proposed solutions. So very interesting to hear this. I wonder if there are any questions from the audience. I heard there's one question from the audience, so please. Just read the question.
So, sorry. I have one question from Manuel. He asks, at the end of the DEREMCO project, do you foresee that the platform will develop? Will remain as a market uptake space for future investments in the composites remanufacturing emerging technologies?
Yes.
The question is cool.
Regarding the platform, for sure, the idea is to use the platform also in future after the end of the project. Sorry, I think that there is some noise. I don't know. Okay, thank you. Yeah, the platform will be one of the key exploitable results of our project. So it will be, for sure, the idea is to use it also as a market uptake for future investments. But take into account that this is a multidisciplinary project with a lot of partners. So as we did also for other projects as fiber use that Marcello already presented during the presentation, we pay a lot of attention on the IPR issues. So for sure it will be one of the future uptake. And we are already discussing about who will be the owner, if everyone will be the owner, how to share the invention and so on. But yes, this is done for more or less all the key exploitable results that are identified during the project itself. But we think that the platform is very important also for this project and for future upscale and uptake of the technologies.
Thank you, Marco.
You're welcome.
I will stay with you to ask related or maybe not second questions. Third, actually. So I'm curious about the role of AI in like. So I know that one of the goals of the DEREMCO is also to be digitalized in order to speed up and improve the processes, especially for stakeholders' involvement and and so on. So I was wondering if there is any input from AI that can help in terms of indeed linking different stakeholders, but not only. If there is any input that AI gives in processes or anything within the project.
Yeah, I think I will make more general your question because it's very, very interesting in my opinion, which can be the role of AI in recycling of composite materials in general, not only in DEREMCO. We can discuss also about DEREMCO. We are studying some possibilities, but I think AI can be important in the future at different levels. First of all, for sure, for the optimization of processes. Linking to the other question that you did to Javier regarding the reduction of pollution, one of the most important thing is for sure to optimize the process in terms of obtainable result, but also in terms of consumption, and emissions and so on. And AI can be helpful in this sense. As an example, you can think the DEREMCO is based, as Marcello already presented, is based on a demand-driven approach. So let's focus on the final product and then optimize our processes, both recycling and reprocessing processes, to obtain the product with these characteristics. AI can be very useful in the optimization of the processes. Clearly, you must have a lot of data. All of us know how AI works, but can be very interesting in this sense. It can be interesting also in connection of different actors in future. As an example, linking demand and supply. This can be one option. If I have some material or an end-of-life product, or on the other hand, I want to use some recycled material, want to implement a new process to produce one product, AI can facilitate this linking for sure. And also, we can think if there can be space or the possibility for AI also to help in the or better to facilitate the implementation of circular value chains. As an example, identifying barriers or possible improvements and so on. So for sure, there will be space for AI at different levels. Must be clearly consider all the problematics also of AI, but yeah, now we are talking on the possibility. So yes, there, in my opinion, and also I think of all the consortium, there will be some space for AI in future.
Marco, thank you very much. Yes, indeed, AI is a very important topic, and it's interesting to see in like what are the steps that in which AI can help to improve processes, but also more on the logistics of the platform as well, such as involving better and more stakeholders in a better way. Well, I would, with the input of a colleague, Jaime, I would like to ask the same questions to Javier, also because you know how to improve the processes, for example, of others to decrease the environmental impact and so on. Like, is there any role for AI in that, or in any other processes, also in EoLO-HUBS?
So EoLO-HUBS strongly relies in some digital tools or software tools, such as the decommissioning tool developed by our colleagues at TNO, or the platform itself, but not specifically in AI. This software by our colleagues from TNO is focused on planning the logistics and resources when it comes to the decommissioning of large wind farms. And the platform I can discuss in detail now, but I also wanted to mention that we are involved now in some of the projects and proposals where the AI as a trending topic right now has more relevance and more weight. And we consider it especially useful for managing all the information available on materials and recycling industries. There's a lot of information available which is not being properly or optimally used. And AI would be a great solution from our point of view to turn all this into a decision-making tool. For example, what to do with this material based on previous experiences, on the quality of the material, the possibilities, the life that the material had before, to turn all that into a decision tool of help to the industry and the partners to use all the already existing information to optimize the solution, and finally leading to a longer life of the materials by themselves or recycled. And also, I think the question from Amy was mentioning the platform in our project and the future use of the platform. And it's something from the very early stages we thought of this as something that will survive the project and be independent from the project right after. We had these debates at the early stages of the project if it should be somehow related or included to the website or the project. And the solution we agreed was no, because once the project is done, the website will in a short or medium term fade away or fall obsolete, something like that. But we want to include in the platform. Of course, it's going to be one of the key exploitable results of our project, as in Marco's situation with DEREMCO. We want to include some tools to make it attractive to everyone in the industry, such as the matchmaking module that should be of use long after the project is done. If I am a producer of materials and I'm looking for a partner in my region who's got the capabilities to recycle or cut or shred the materials, we want our platform to be the place where we will have a database to look for this specific partner or to look for a specific business solution or business collaboration. We think the key for the survival of such platforms is that they are still useful in time. And the way to make that possible is to include useful tools for the people and tools and solutions in the platform that make it attractive and useful for the stakeholders in the industry. One could be the stakeholders module we're working, the matchmaking module we're working on, but also, of course, including interesting information or access to information from the project.
Okay.
We're still working in an early model that should be ready by the end of this year. But from the very early stages of the platform, we are thinking of the matchmaking module as the key for the life of a platform after the project.
Thank you, Javier. Very interesting. I feel like that the discussion is getting interesting now, but we have only 4 minutes left. Well, 5 minutes left. So I have another question, but I've already asked many questions. I'm wondering, do you guys have a question for each other? That would be very interesting. If not, I can proceed with my next question, but
Yes,
maybe.
one quick question to Marco.
Nice.
Yeah, in the presentation from your colleague, I saw that at the end of it, you were developing kind of a mat built with the fibers you recovered from the wind turbine blades, which is quite similar to one of the materials we obtain at the end of our value chain, but as in using a different technology. And could you give an outline, of course, not entering into too much detail as the project is ongoing, and I understand you would have some IPR concerns, but maybe general idea of what the applications for such material could be, since we are developing something similar, and maybe it could help us develop maybe alternate uses. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, for all the application in which you already use a mat, as an example, construction or insulation or something similar. So in particular, flat structures, panels or something similar. This is very interesting for mat. Then we are trying also to investigating if we can use it also for more technical, let me say, for more technical products. So that requires high mechanical performances or something similar. But for sure, mat are already used for a lot of construction panels or insulation panels and so on. So first of all, for sure, this. But it's quite innovative also for us. So we can, I mean, if in 1 year there will be another event as this one, we can discuss better on where we used it.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, we have a very similar situation. I mean, the main challenge with such materials is this upgrading or finding applications where the material is of use, but they are highly demanding applications.
Yeah.
And yeah, to be honest, we have better defined the applications and the performance and everything when it comes to construction or automotive, which are also areas of interest for the project. But yeah, when it comes to the mat and maybe reusing it in the wind industry, energy, that's a huge challenge we are facing at EoLO-HUBS. And yeah, as you, Marco, I hope I have better information in 1 year from now. And
I think can be interesting in organizing one call, okay, in the next, not days, because now there will be holidays, but in the next months, let me say, or weeks, and then keep in touch also to see if there are some possibilities to cooperate. I think it can be interesting for me.
I would love to. It would be really, really interesting.
Also for us, for sure, because it's now nice to see at the end of the presentations and the discussion that the common grounds, but also question raised for each other to improve, and also I think, yes, for the audience is nice. This is the best moment to see real insights of this topic. It's 2 minutes left, so I don't know. Maybe I can ask quickly last questions, like, which is actually another very, very complicated one, probably. But like, I'm curious about if you can say a couple of words, the both of you. What are the main challenges in aligning the stakeholders in these processes in the project? So for everything you have been talking about until now, like the first thing that comes into your mind.
I think that if I can start with very few words, I think that one of the main challenges with stakeholders is that everyone wants to do something, but no one know what to do. Okay, I mean, we have a lot of contacts also outside the project, and more or less all the stakeholders outside the project, in particular the waste owner, said, I have this waste. Can you take it? And the answer should be no. We have to think together what you can do with it. So I think the most important, the most challenging thing is this, to increase the awareness of the stakeholders, and in particular waste owners, in my opinion, and also the manufacturers. So in one word, awareness.
Yeah, and from my side, I'd say it's always challenging to align interests and to transmit to the stakeholders why is it interesting for them to join the activities in the project. I don't know, workshops, meetings, and everything. Yeah, sometimes they do not. Let's say they do not really understand what's in the project for them, and they consider it's going to be quite, I don't know, hermetic, or that we are going to be too protective, or they definitely sometimes do not understand what's in the project for them. So again, the key word is awareness, because if they understood better what's in the project for them, and it's positive, we would have much wider success when gathering stakeholders. Many industries already have experience in collaborating with projects, and they already understand what's in it for them, so they are willing to collaborate from the very beginning. But yeah, with some others, we really have to do a big work of information and awareness, as Marco said, before they understand what we are doing and why is it so interesting for them.
Thank you, Javier. Yeah, it's also one more message to lead this meeting is indeed like logistics and communication and collaboration, being everybody on the same line, are indeed all factors that when you have a project that involve a wide range of stakeholders, it really helps and are really important things. There's one question. Maybe we can, just end with this. So my colleague Martin now will step in to ask the question.
So we have a question from Katerina here. She asks, can composites be certified for structural application? Are there any reference standards?
Who will reply?
I suppose the question goes for both of you.
From my side, I'd say that the wind industry works with its own very specific standards and their specific testing schemes, and they are not general for all composites. So I'm afraid each industry has its own testing procedures, and then you have to apply it to different materials you could use. For the construction, for example, I cannot give much information because our partner in the project will use them. Will use the composites in panels and in forming machinery where the requirements are not that demanding, since it's going to be a product with insulation properties and for the maybe heat and noise, but not with structural properties. So other than in the wind industry, I guess each industry will need some research on the requirements for the materials, and then try to translate that to the composites. Many factors in there: the length of the fibers, the quality of the polymer in the matrix, and you just gotta adapt your composite to the requirements of the industry, and not the other way.
I agree with you.
Question.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're 5 minutes extra, but I think it was worth it. And I want to thank you very much, Marco, Javier, also Marcello, and Valentina.
Thank you.
For the inputs, the presentations, and the nice discussion. I definitely agree with you guys that we should have another session, or I mean, I think this was a nice moment to create inputs about this topic. So thank you very much. This is the word from Veltha, and thank you for the audience, for the question asked by Jaime, by Caterina, by Emanuele, and I hope to see you again and discuss similar topics in the future.
For sure.
If you don't have anything to add, I say goodbye, and yes, nice loop session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.